2 years ago, the Auburn Tigers earned their first Final Four appearance and came within a second and a few inches of earning a trip to the championship game.
Guy for the win in the corner. He was fouled. Auburn fouled the shooter.
2 years later, the Tigers may be led by a new set of faces, but their swagger remains intact, in large part thanks to the dynamic playmaking of freshman phenom Sharife Cooper. Today, the Tigers get another chance to slay a giant as they travel to Waco to face second-ranked Baylor. A year after having their postseason dream shattered by COVID, Scott Drew's unblemished Bears have been dominant. All-American Jared Butler leads a defense that may be the nation's best, a squad hungry to remain unbeaten. Is Auburn poised for an upset, or will Baylor's run continue? We'll find out next. And we welcome you to Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. And you're watching the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire. From Waco, Texas, the Farrell Center, number 2 Baylor. They're unbeaten at 15-0 as they take on Auburn. Check out the tote board now so far in our SEC Big 12 Challenge. 2 games played. And the leagues have split them 1-1. 5 wins clinch it. And we got a good one here today. Welcome, everybody. John Shambi here in New York. Fran Fraschilla in Dallas. Fran, when you look at this matchup between the 2 leagues, Texas and Kentucky postponed due to COVID, but you thought this was the most intriguing matchup.
Absolutely. You got the dominant team in college basketball along with Gonzaga against a young man who has transformed Auburn basketball in only 6 games. So I am looking forward to this. There's individual matchups that I'm absolutely intrigued by, John.
Scott Drew had a really good team last year and again this season, obviously being unbeaten. But those 3 guards are really kind of the anchor. I guess you'd say the headliner is Jared Butler, but he's not alone.
He's the first-team All-American, without a doubt. Maceo Teague, great offensive player. But Davion Mitchell, to me, is the best two-way guard in college basketball. He's shooting 47% behind the arc. He's coming off a career-high 31 against Kansas State. And he's as good a defender as you will see on the ball in America. Oh, by the way, he's got a little challenge today.
Okay, he's got a serious challenge. Sharife Cooper, the guy for Auburn on the other side, just eligible 6 games in, and what a difference he's made.
No doubt about it, John. I was down at practice last night in Waco watching them, and he's listed at 6'1". You know, I'm an expert on height of anybody under 6 feet tall, and I'll give him 5'11" with high hair, but that doesn't mean he's not a dominant player. Take a look at this vision for a guy who's listed at 6'1". This is a left-handed pass, and he's a righty, by the way. On time, on target, money. Now, what I love about this kid is he gets into the tall timber and he engages. Take a look at the way he engages the big right here. He knows his teammate is rolling to the rim. He gets the big in the air. Just a simple drop-off pass for an easy one. Here's another example right here. Gets downhill into the lane, engages the big, takes a look. He sees Stretch Akingbola inside, and look at this wraparound pass. He has made the game so much easier for these young Auburn Tigers, the youngest team in the country. John, that tells you the story right there, what you're looking at.
No doubt. Look at the difference you're talking with Sharife Cooper. They're averaging 12.5 points more per game, shooting better, getting to the line more, and shooting it at a higher percentage. And they've won 4 out of 6. All right, so Baylor trying to remain unbeaten. And you think to the way the season has gone on, December 30th, we had a whole slew of unbeaten teams, including Hawaii and Michigan and SMU. We'll take it to January 30th, and now you're down to 5. But wait, last night, Winthrop beaten by UNC Asheville, and so it's down to 4. Drake and Alabama A&M joining Baylor and Gonzaga. Scott Drew tried to make it a perfect 16-0, but Fran, what a team that he has this year. They could do a little bit of everything, beat you offensively and defensively.
Well, I don't know, John. You know, the defense is number 1 in the country, but the offense is only number 3. But to your point, this has been a dominant basketball team over 2 seasons, 40-4. Wrap your head around that one.
Will Thamba to jump it up with Jalen Williams. Fight for the loose ball, and guess who? Jared Butler has it, gives it over to Mitchell. We are underway in Waco.
Spread pick and roll. Vital will roll to the rim. Last night's practice, Auburn spent all their defensive time in pick and roll coverage.
Fight for the loose ball and eventually take it away. It's Cooper. See the Auburn starting
Let's see
5.
who we've got. We've got Teague on Cooper, John, to start. Interesting.
Pass to Johnson, gets inside, swatted away, and here come the Bears. Butler hesitation into the paint, pull up strong, and a rebound pulled down by Jalen Williams.
Baylor, a really good floater team, but remember the challenge inside is scoring tonight against shot blockers. Auburn's got one of the best shot blocking teams in the country. 1 out of every 5 possessions in the half court, they will send it back at you.
So much to deal with when facing Baylor. Great three-point shooting team, in fact, best in the country. And then Butler can do that, couldn't finish there. And then the one other thing is they're a great offensive rebounding team. Year in and year out, one of the hallmarks of Scott Drew's team, offensive rebounding.
Yeah, this year number 4. They've been number 4 on average for about 8 years. Two shots at the rim for Baylor so far, not going down. So the challenge inside is going to be to score over a length.
Yeah, right there, Davion Mitchell buries one. The former Auburn Tiger knocks it down, and Baylor on the board and takes the early lead.
Well, we'll talk to you about why he left, and there's certainly no bad blood at all. He was behind Jared Harper and Bryce Brown, and those guys took Auburn to the Final Four.
Feed inside. Thamba looking for some space and had it blocked.
Already that length is a factor for Auburn. Take a look, you know, inside. We talked about this. This is one of the best shot blocking teams in the country. And JT Thor, the freshman from Anchorage, Alaska, comes in and makes his presence felt.
Here's Bruce Pearl, 7th season at Auburn. He's watched his team turn it over 3 straight times down to the offensive end. Butler replacing Davion Mitchell, had a good look at it.
One of the things I like about
that was a really good-looking
guards
shot. They just couldn't finish.
Yeah. Oh, there's a pass. Take a look. That's a dime dropper right there. John, what I love about Baylor's guards is they sprint to spacing. So when they drive into the lane and give it up, they run right back out to the three-point line. That takes a lot of discipline.
That's vital. Inside, contested. And Thor got
and I think JT Thor took a shot in the face. He's coming down. Yep. Baylor's had trouble early inside, and we thought so. The length is a problem. Teague still on Cooper.
Inside hanging and hitting is Alan Flanagan. Nicely done.
Let's watch the little guy. Up. Flanagan strong to the rim. Powerful guard.
Presentation of college basketball is presented by Continental Tire, for what you do. And Jared Butler right there lighting it up against Kansas. Pretty impressive to do what he's done against the Bill Self defense.
Yeah, he's averaging 23 points a game against KU in 5 games. Interestingly, John, that night, he only had 1 bucket that he scored on Marcus Garrett, the National Defensive Player of the Year last season. And Kansas switches so much freely at 4 spots that Scott Drew, they designed their offense that night to pick apart guys like Christian Brown and Ochai Agbaji, and force Bill Self to maybe start to rethink about all that free switching that can happen sometimes. Not always. It's still a great defense, but Butler took advantage of it that night.
How about that note, though? Kevin Durant, the only other player to go for 30 twice against a Bill Self-coached Kansas team.
Well, Danny Manning once told me that the greatest performance he's ever seen in Allen Fieldhouse was the first half, Texas against Kansas. Kevin Durant had 25 in the half, and then he twisted his ankle.
Adam Flagler knocks one down.
Do you know how good Adam Flagler is? Let me tell you, John. When he was a freshman at Presbyterian, he dropped 29 at UCLA, and he had plus 20 in games against Dayton and Marquette.
He was the
You'll
Big
hear about
South
him more and
freshman
more
of the
next
year,
year.
no doubt.
Yep. Everyday John is in. No one runs harder than Everyday John. Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua.
Chamwa-Chachua, yeah. There he is. UNLV transfer, and
yep. What an energy guy, John. I don't know that there's anybody in the country that plays any harder than this sophomore from Cameroon via the NBA Global Academy in Australia. UNLV transfer.
Good cut to the goal and the bucket underneath, and Baylor with the 8-5 advantage.
Well, I love that because Auburn is tremendous at denying inbounds under. Scott Drew brought everybody away from the basket, and it opened up the lane for the cut. This is great because through the years, Auburn, it shuts you down on inbounds plays. Look at how they stretch out the floor in order to get Maceo Teague to the rim. That's great scouting. And if you don't have an answer for the Auburn inbounds under plays, you're going to have a hard time getting it in. But they used all of the half court that time to set up the back cut to the rim. Really well done. At practice yesterday, John, I was down in Waco, made the drive down. This team was locked in.
And that one will go, and there is Flagler again.
Now, you got to know, this kid is from Duluth, Georgia, and he played against Sharif Cooper one time. McEachern, a powerhouse in Atlanta, won the game. But Adam Flagler was really impressive against a powerhouse in Georgia.
It's a 7-0 run as Matthew Meyer into the game. That's him with the ball. Pulls up 3. Got a rebound ripped down. Tigers the other way. Cooper gives off. And an answer for a 3 right there as Jalen Williams able to hit.
Yeah, he's the thermometer for this team. Bruce Pearl loves a lot of things about Jalen Williams, but he can be hot and cold. He's looking for consistency. Uh-oh.
Wow. I'm not sure what happened. Chamwa-Chachua collected it but couldn't finish. Williams trying another 3. That time couldn't hit. Flagler really quick, gets inside, He's off to a good start.
He's only a sophomore. He spent all last season going up against Butler, Teague, and Mitchell. You don't think that helps your game?
Flagler with 7 of Baylor's early 12. Ball tipped out of bounds, and it's Baylor ball.
I love this, John. When you play against a small passer, you want to make him shoot the ball in the lane. Baylor knows that, so they're playing off him. Now, he's averaging 22 points a game, but they're going to play off the drive for him to score and take away those home run plays, the lobs. I've watched all 6 games. Nobody's done that this year. He sucks the defense in so that he can throw the home run pass. Baylor today is going to make him finish inside.
Sharif Cooper been quiet so far. Here's Meyer, offensive foul.
Solid D right here. Moves his feet. Meyer gets a little too deep. And occasionally he gets a little excited about scoring. You know, Scott Drew does not have 5 starters. He's got 8. And Adam Flagler so far has shown you why.
Feet underneath, and they get it to go. And that was Devin Cambridge.
Little nuisance press right there that the Tigers just picked apart. Youngest team in the country.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stark contrast in terms of that. The experience, an Auburn team that is the youngest in the country as they go for the lob, and that time it was Vital trying to throw it down. You look at the starting lineup for the Chicago Bulls, by the way, Fred. Baylor's actually older, or as old as the Bulls. One more look that time.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? You know, by the way, that Drake team that's 15-0, their average starting 5 is, of the starting 5, 23 years old plus.
Wow.
Kudos to the Drake Bulldogs. They'll play Monday night against Illinois State. This guy at the line has been the heart and soul of this team for many, many years. Hard to imagine that he committed to Baylor, John. I don't know where you were in 2013, but he committed to Baylor in September of 2013 as a high school sophomore. Scott Drew always says, buy Baylor, don't rent Baylor. And this guy has bought Baylor basketball from his sophomore year in high school on.
Oh, he's done such a good job rebuilding the program and selling the program. Easy to buy.
Nobody ever transfers. Think about it. No one transfers of any consequence.
Closing on the 12-minute mark. Baylor by a couple. And that'll go out of bounds. What's Darren George saying? Foul that time. I think they got Davion Mitchell. 2-point game. You're watching the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire. Baylor, number 2 team in the country, unbeaten, and they lead it in the early going. 12-10, 11:57 to go. And this is a young team for Bruce Pearl. I mean, the future is bright, but wow, Fran, 14 freshmen and sophomores.
Well, he told us yesterday that he was worried about the moment being too big for his young team. Not this guy, Sharif Cooper. He said he would be ready for the challenge, but so far, he said he didn't want him getting punched in the mouth and getting knocked out. That has not been the case, John. This team lost 84% of its scoring from a year ago.
Flanagan with the basketball in his hands. Shot clock down to 5 feet inside. Good look and 1. Chris Moore able to gather it and put it in, and a nice feed.
Yeah, Chris Moore, the JUCO transfer from West Memphis, Arkansas. Take a look. Nice drop off by Alan Flanagan, who had to play a lot of point guard before Cooper became eligible, because, John, they're without another outstanding freshman, Justin Powell, who's been in COVID protocol. And you say, how important is he? He and Cooper, as freshmen, have each had a 26.9 assist game, and they have not played together yet this year.
So tied up at a dozen apiece. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla. Both teams fairly cold in the early going. Butler.
Now, there's a reason for it for Baylor, because they have not been able to score inside.
Missed three from Davion Mitchell. Another try. That one batted out, but it's the Tigers going the other way. And then Butler able to save, and here comes Baylor.
That's good perimeter defense, which you'd expect from Auburn, despite the youth.
Butler off the glass. That wouldn't go. Fight for the loose ball. Auburn basketball.
Are you noticing, John, how uncomfortable they are driving?
Vital gets fouled. And Mark Vital will go to the line. And he will shoot two. So the stocky guard forward Mark Vital will step to the line.
Yep. There were some that thought he was a little chunky earlier in the year, but he has played his best basketball as of late. Of course, he had that monster game at home against Kansas. 11 rebounds, a couple monster dunks.
We got a full day of college hoops across all our networks today and tomorrow. It culminates with these two major matchups on ESPN and the app. We got Kansas and Tennessee, number 15 and number 18 tonight at 6 Eastern. And then number 1 Gonzaga taking on Pepperdine in a big West Coast Conference clash. Tennessee game, one of our Sonic blockbuster. So Gonzaga, Pepperdine.
Yeah, huge win today for the Oklahoma Sooners. Without Reeves, without Alondas Williams, they knock off maybe one of the couple hottest teams in the country today, Alabama. Great win by the chess master, Lon Kruger. Mitchell on.
Cooper back in.
Cooper now. Yeah.
Quarter three wouldn't go. More the rebound. Pass was swatted away. Cambridge can't hit. Offensive rebound at Auburn. Sets it back up. Cooper. Yeah, welcome in everybody. Baylor, number 2 team in the country, unbeaten, 15-0. As Florida was able to get past West Virginia. Right here, it has been a fight so far. 2-point game. And the Bears at home leading Sharife Cooper and the Auburn Tigers. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, thanks for joining us.
And if you're just joining us and you're looking at that 10-7 record, don't be deceived. This team has won 4 out of 6 since the super freshman Sharife Cooper has joined this team. All he's done is gone for 22 and 9 in 6 games. I think you got to make Cooper a scorer, John. His passing is way more dangerous, even though he's averaging 22. It's a high-volume set of shooting.
Goes to the goal, puts it in off the glass.
And there's that
and
fearlessness.
We're tied up at 14.
Yep, fearless driver.
Mitchell at the free throw line.
That's a good call. Davion Mitchell warded off Cooper with the right arm. Now, there was contact early, and Jerry Pollard is one of those guys, a good official, but he's going to call a lot of fouls. Take a look right here. Let's see that. It's the left arm. Nope, it's the right arm. My fault. There it is. A lot of contact. Mitchell disagreed. And he goes out with 2 fouls, John.
Drive to the basket, and That one got knocked away.
And counted. JT Thor, I've mentioned a freshman born in Omaha, grew up in Anchorage, Alaska. He is a long drink of water. That time, because he's a stretch big, John, they chased him off the line. He was still able to get to the rim.
Closing on 9 to go here in the first half. And Auburn on the road, leading the number 2 team in the country by a couple. That one in and out for Flagler. Thamba with the rebound. Flagler in the paint. And they got a foul first, I believe, on Jamal Johnson.
Now Mitchell
with Mitchell.
Yep, he's got 2, John, but remember, Flagler is a starter, the way they feel about him. Mitchell's coming off that great game earlier in the week against Kansas State, but they have the depth to survive his foul trouble.
Bruce Pearl unhappy right there, watching that 3 go down. And they'll go to the possession arrow.
Yeah, that's the problem with a guy that tall who drives it like Thor, because he's really a stretch big guy. He dribbles very high, and it's easy to get into his body and grab that ball without fouling him, because that ball is dribbled at the same width, or I don't know what you call it, of where Adam Flagler's hands are. Level, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Thor into the paint, step back, short. And Thamba pulls it down. Been uneven so far offensively for Scott Drew's offense. Cooper pushes up ahead. Lob. And they can't finish that time. It has not been an offensive Mona Lisa so far. And Flagler gets fouled. He'll shoot 2 when we return.
Well, Baylor's guards are having trouble scoring inside the arc today. Only 3 field goals, but you can count on this guy to start heating up. Jared Butler.
Baylor by a point. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla. And what about the Auburn defense so far, Fran?
Well, you know, they are a long drink of water type team, and they block the 6 shots a game. They've only got 1 block tonight, John, but trust me, they've challenged just about everything at the rim. Baylor 3 for 12 inside the arc, and as we've seen throughout the years, Baylor's guards are as good of layup and floater makers as there are in the country, but not tonight. They are off their game early because of the challenges inside. Watch how they spread on this inbounds play like they did earlier.
Butler baseball pass gets it into Thamba, who hands it over to Flagler, and they'll set it up. Baylor by a point, under 8 to go here in the first half. The young Auburn team, youngest in the country, actually. And they are just hanging around. Vital inside, off the window, wouldn't go. Tip wouldn't go. And Tigers with a chance to take the lead.
Good drive again, but again, the size of Auburn and that length.
Offensive foul. Javon Franklin charged with that one.
Take a look now. Watch Vital, the spin move, and again, more challenges inside. Can't get it done. And then on the other end, one thing Baylor does as well as anybody is watch the step in right there. Take the contact. Draw the charge last night at practice, and then yesterday when we talked to Bruce Pearl, he told his guards, he said, listen, you've got to go strong, but understand if you're not by your defender, those guards will step in and take charges.
What adjustments do you anticipate Baylor to make?
You know, I just think that they got to keep playing the way they play all year. They can't be worried about shot blockers. No, you can't be overthinking this now. This is an early sample size, John. Credit to Auburn for having a good game plan early.
Feed inside. Flagler off to a good start for Baylor. He's got 9. Who saw that coming? I mean, a guy that certainly can light it up, but you're used to seeing the likes of Teague and Mitchell and Butler burying it, but it's been Flagler who's been their best offensive player here in the first half.
Well, and that's not necessarily a big surprise because right now he's waiting his turn for stardom. And Mark Vital, something happened. Are they going to the monitor? Now, I will say this. I believe that Big 12 officials are as good as there is, but we have a crew today that calls a lot of fouls. And you have to know that going in. Doesn't mean they're bad calls. It's just that they are not going to let much go. And they're looking at something. And I think it's
George on the left,
between Vital
on the right.
Yeah. Here you see the two officials. They're gonna spin that little DVD dial. Watch Jerry Pollard. He's it's like he's playing a video game right there.
Fran, it's not they stopped making DVDs. It's not a DVD dial.
No. John, you see that thing that says DVS Sport?
Yeah.
That's what the officials use for replays. Did it happen out top? Oh, there you go. That's incidental. If it was Vital, to me, that's incidental. Let's take a look. Let's watch his. Now, if his elbow comes up, we got a different deal here. Gosh, I don't see anything.
I don't see anything.
Other than two guys running into each other.
No, I don't see anything. Jerry Pollard right there. Vital's got 2.
Well, see, I don't like that. I don't like that call at all. 2 guys were just passing in the night. And that's 2 key guys for Baylor now with 2 fouls each. And you see, I don't think, because it wasn't any kind of flagrant foul, they couldn't have wiped the foul off the books like they could if there was a flagrant foul. Then you can go to the monitor and assess whether you could keep the foul on or take it off. But I personally think that they missed that call and you just have to play on.
One-point game. Butler handling here. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, number 2 team in the country, trying to stay unbeaten, the Baylor Bears. Butler split the defense, but the pass deflected. It's been a really active Auburn team on defense, Fran.
No question, John. If you know anything about Bruce Pearl, he relishes this chance to take a young team in here and, potentially make a little bit of history. Wait till you see them next year. I think they're a Final Four contender a year from now.
Oh, shot rejected. Nicely done. Jalen Williams throwing back the effort from Davion Mitchell. And then a step in. Butler takes it away to the other end, and he puts it in. A steal in the basket.
John, Baylor's got Cooper figured out because they know he's going to be pass first. And that time, they allowed him to get into the lane and cheated out into the passing lane. Sometimes a point guard can be too unselfish.
Yeah, to travel, it's a turnover.
Take a look
10
right
turnovers.
Now. Watch this now. He's getting into the lane, and watch Butler cheat out to the pass that looked like it was going to be open. And now listen, Sharife Cooper can score the ball. We know that, but guys like him, I think back to TJ Ford. He's a guy that he kind of reminds me of, the National Rookie Freshman of the Year back in 02-03. But they want to be passers first.
Yeah.
Baylor understands that.
Jumper long that time from Flagler. Auburn the other way. Baylor leading by 3. A young Auburn team, very talented, hanging in there on the road in Waco.
Cooper's got 3 turnovers and assists today. And that's what he does well, John. He shot 21 free throws earlier in the week in the win over Missouri. 18 of 21. And despite the size and strength, he has a way of getting into your body and getting balls up on the rim. And those are prolific numbers.
And a reminder, our ACC Big 12 or our ACC Big 12 Monday games on ESPN and the app. Duke squares off against Miami at 7 Eastern. And then we head to the Big 12 for the matchup of the night. Number 24, Oklahoma taking on number 10, Texas Tech in Lubbock.
Oklahoma will probably be ranked about 15th or 16th after when the polls come out on Monday. A great week of basketball for them. And culminating today, knocking off a very hot Alabama team.
Got a win earlier in the week against Texas.
Good D.
Kansas last weekend. Oklahoma playing good ball. Auburn a chance to take the lead. Haven't made a field goal since the 9:13 mark. Ball fake, Cooper, step back, wouldn't go, and the flush. Davion Cambridge flying in for the follow of the dunk.
That ball sat on the rim because it was a soft release. That's a charge. Oh, maybe not.
Wow, they called that a block.
Well, let's see. But watch this, softly hangs on the rim. Here comes Cambridge. Terrific finish.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody blocked him out. You know what I love about Davion Cambridge? He was in the starting lineup, and when Bruce Pearl got the word that Sharife Cooper would be immediately eligible, he had some decisions to make. But the decision was made easy because sophomore Davion Cambridge said, "Coach, I'll come off the bench. We need to start Sharife." And oh, by the way, his numbers have gone up as the sixth man, now averaging 9 points a game in about 20 minutes. So done a nice job for his team, and obviously Cooper and his success speaks for itself.
Tell you, that highlight should come with a warning, or people should be taking Dramamine the next time they're watching Davion Cambridge, you know, flying into your living room and all of a sudden the whole rim's shaking.
Well, listen, this Auburn impressive team it's talented. It's young, but it's really talented.
Feed inside, kick out from Cardwell. They tried to find Cardwell again. Flanagan inside, high off the glass. Tip wouldn't go. Loose ball, Mitchell. And it looks like it's going to be Baylor basketball. Yes, it will. All right, Baylor by a point, 4:13 to go.
Here's that drive. Good challenge inside, and you see Auburn just attacking the basket. They are out rebounding Baylor right now by double figures. Baylor, there's a little bit of a, you know, crack in the armor because they have not done a good job on the glass.
Look at the edge and offensive rebounding. Meyer, three, got it. Big three right there as Matthew Meyer knocks it down. Trying to answer at the other end as Flanagan couldn't do it, and Meyer the other way. Baylor by 4. Meyer spins, nice. Feed inside.
Yep.
Tchamwa Tchatchoua able to put it in, and he'll go to the line. Absorb the contact, and he's got a shot at a three-point play. Baylor on a little bit of a run. Biggest lead of the game, on top by 6. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get it done.
Well, to that point, to that point, John, they have, I think they've gotten Cooper to struggle a little bit. 4 points, 3 turnovers.
Travel, and it's a turnover. L.J. Cryer. So Scott Drew's team.
Watch the drive there by Cooper, and again, he's got great vision. That's where you can't, when he drives into the lane, you have to bluff in and get back out, because Scott Drew would rather him shoot over a length than to draw defenders in and make plays like that.
That 3 for Auburn, by the way, they were 1 for 12 from beyond the arc before that 3. Butler unimpeded, puts it in. Jared Butler now with 9.
Nice screen inside by Everyday John.
Loose ball, it'll be Auburn basketball.
Watch Everyday John now. He's gonna seal his man in the lane. And that's why there's no length on that shot. Thor could not get close to challenge Butler because Everyday John did a great job of sealing Thor away from the drive. Really well done.
2:39 to go here, first half. And Baylor trying to stay unbeaten as they lead it by 6. The Bears 15-0, including 8-0 in conference. That's from way downtown and off the mark.
And Jared Butler's got a piece of Cooper right now because Mitchell's 2 fouls have put him back on the bench. On occasion, Meyer can give the ball a headache.
Short with that 3.
He's going to shoot it.
And a big 3 right there. JT Thor buries that one. They were ice cold from 3. And now they made a couple. And they're down that many. 31-28, 142 to go first half. And it's a good one. .142 to go here in the first half. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla. Franny, I guess anatomy of an upset. Some funky things have to happen if you're going to pull it off, right?
Yeah. First of all, you want to stay in the game. But just watch Thor trail the play. Nobody's on him. And this young man, he only shoots 30% from behind the arc, John, but he's very capable. You see that stroke. But Bruce Pearl has done this so many times. Come into a place, you're the decided underdog. And my big thing always was in a game like this, when I was the underdog, just don't get knocked out early. Just shorten the game. They're now heading to the halftime against number 2 in the country, and they're within 3. So they've withstood the initial onslaught, have been great defensively, and at this point are exactly where they need to be, although that's not good defense.
Butler had a wide open look from the corner, couldn't hit. And now Auburn the other way. Lob, and the throwdown right there as Cambridge puts it home.
You know the key to that break? Sharif Cooper gave the ball up early. He recognized that his pass would lead to a 2-on-1. He didn't try to make the home run play. He made the simple play.
Yeah, right there, Davion Mitchell able to bury it. And Baylor back on top, leading by 3. A minute to go first half. Cooper gets inside, left hand, wouldn't go. What's Darren George have here?
Watch this, John. Now Mitchell could have held on to this ball. Watch the shot. But this is good basketball right here. He gives it up early, and that creates the 2-on-1. So you have a kid who's averaging 9 assists a game, but he's not assist hungry. He's making the right basketball play. One of the keys about being a good NBA guard, a point guard, is give the ball up to your athletes and let them play in the half court. Perfect example right there.
Sharif Cooper, the freshman from Georgia. been a slow first half for him, but his team hanging in there. A reminder, this week's NBA Saturday primetime matchup on ABC and ESPN app. LeBron and AD and the Lakers on a 7-game road trip that takes them to the Garden in Boston to battle the Celtics. Coverage begins NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern.
Anthony Davis talked yesterday about the great chemistry he's got with LeBron. He said it's not just on the court but off, and that's a dynamic duo as we saw during the summer in the bubble. Now, John, Baylor's going to get a chance to go 2 for 1. And the question is, if you're a coach in college who's trying to implement 2 for 1 into your offensive attack, when do you shoot the first shot so that you get 2 possessions? Ideally, it's got to be around 40. So Scott Drew shoots this ball too quickly, then Auburn has a chance at 2 for 1. But ideally, if you get a ball up on the rim at 40, you'll have a chance to get a second possession, and thereby, that's why we call it 2 for 1.
Stretch Akimbola missed them both as the rebound pulled down by Flagler. Baylor with the ball up 3. Let's see how they do it.
Watch the shot clock now.
Mitchell by the elbow.
Gotta get it up. Couldn't do it. Good defense.
Almost lost the handle. Now Mitchell. Shot clock winding down. And that one's saved. Feed inside, and they got an easy look for Maceo Teague.
You can't save that ball. If you're Auburn right there and you're saving it, just throw it to midcourt, but not so close that you can come up with the possession. They're going to double team Cooper now at the end of this half. Mitchell's got him. He's got 2 fouls.
Offensive foul. So
Great
Flanagan
possession.
charged with that one.
Yeah, what they did, John, is they doubled the ball out of Cooper's hands. Mitchell face guarded him. That forced Flanagan, who's not a pure point guard, to go downhill and run over Everyday John.
Bruce Pearl's still got to be pretty happy with the way his team has hung around here in the first half.
Now, we're not in the arena, so what are they concerned with here? Oh, they're just going to play on. Well, it could have been a restricted arc penalty, and that's something you can, with the help of your colleagues, the officials, let's take a look. Now, well, we lost his footing, lost the view of the feet at the very end, but it looked like that Everyday John had his foot on the restricted arc.
Yeah, we're not there, so we didn't get to see them. I mean, it was called by Darren George as an offensive foul. Bruce Pearl reacted, and obviously they changed it around. Missed them both. And that's that. 35-30. Our halftime score. And number 2 Baylor bidding to remain unbeaten at home against Auburn. SEC with the early advantage in the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire. Let's send it to the studio. Here's Reese Davis. Welcome back to Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. As you're watching the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire. Yeah, the always animated John Shambi and Fran Fraschilla. Chip, Joanna Gaines. I see you, Spatola and Hollenberg. All right, so first half, what about Auburn's defense, Franny?
Beautifully ugly. They made Baylor play ugly because of the size and length inside. Those guards couldn't get to the rack like they normally do, so credit them. But Jared Butler, couple baskets, 9 points, leads all scorers for the Baylor Bears, although Adam Flagler is right there with him. And on the other side of the coin, you see right now it's coaches versus cancer, and everybody has got their signs. Everybody's been affected by cancer. We love what they do, and the V Foundation certainly.
Yeah, no doubt. Personal for everybody involved. Of course, you see right there, Flo Thamba holding up for Holly Rowe.
Who is definitely watching right now.
Yeah, I lost my uncle, Pete Wolf, to pancreatic cancer. I know Holly's watching, and want to send her a shout out.
And terrific Auburn taking part as well, players and coaches. It's a cool place, John. Waco is not only become a hotbed of college basketball, but great people down there, thriving community, restaurants, hotels popping up everywhere. Chip and Joanna, and I was sitting next to Chip in the stands there. He's a very stiff guy. Found him to be very stiff sitting next to him.
Nothing but dad jokes from Fran Fraschilla. There they are.
I couldn't even converse with the guy.
There he is.
No, it's a great basketball community. And hey, there's John Shambi.
Yes.
He goes my guy.
Smiling.
Yeah, no doubt. Great basketball community and great people.
Baylor basketball to start the second half and back underway. Baylor by 5. See what they do to try and get the offense going. And right there, a little mid-range for Jared Butler as he knocks it down.
Kind of going to school on those shot blockers. He just pulled up. He said, I can make this 12-footer. I know the analytics guys don't like it, but I can make that.
Inside, catch, and Williams able to put it home from point-blank range.
Yeah, fortunate for the Tigers because Baylor smelled the lob out, but did not smell the ball deflected, and Jalen Williams with an easy basket.
Mitchell from the free throw line.
Really impressed with Auburn's defense.
Teague spins, banks it home.
Yeah, and that's that we talked about, those floaters that these guards make. Maceo Teague has that love affair with the backboard. He really can shoot it from any angle as long as you give him backboard. He's pretty good when he doesn't use it as well.
Williams being harassed by Thamba. Feed inside. Thor able to put it in.
Jalen Williams, that did not look pretty, but he didn't lose the ball when he found JT Thor inside. Really impressed, John, with this young Auburn team. If you know Bruce Pearl, you knew they were going to come out with a plan, and you knew they would battle, and they have.
Yeah, that one was almost ready to rattle out, but Teague able to get it to go down.
Well, I like what they're doing because they did not have success at the rim, but all three of those guards are capable of making those high paint type shots or those mid-range floaters.
Cooper, shot rejected.
That looked like Vital.
Teague, that's a 3. Got it.
Timeout.
And just like that, it's a 10-point game. Biggest lead of the afternoon for Baylor.
Well, Bruce is going to play it on, and he knows his team.
Cooper, the freshman, handling.
Yeah, Vital's been on Cooper. That's interesting.
That 3 wouldn't go. Vital swoops in for the board. And Butler get him for a push and an offensive foul. Let's take a look at that Vital block.
Yeah, Mark Vital, watch this. He's open the second half, a couple possessions on Cooper. And again, that's what I love about that is he's allowing Cooper to go to the basket without being a passer, making him finish. He has it. And there you see Maceo Teague dialing it up from deep. And Mark Vital, I'll tell you, last year, John, he was the hardest playing guy in basketball. Every day, John is right there with him, but those two guys cause a lot of problems.
Inside, that was halfway down for Alan Flanagan, but it rolled out. Vital bulls his way to the basket, a little too strong. Loose ball, Auburn basketball.
Vital.
Wow.
Vital signs.
Something else.
Oh, man. Take a look. Non-stop motor. And I believe it had disappeared for a game or two. But since that Kansas game, Mark Vital has returned from witness protection for a game or two. And is showing you why he's so valuable to this team. The winningest Baylor player among Big 12 wins. He's got the most wins in Baylor history. Big 12 wins, that is.
Elbow jumper wouldn't go. Rebound Thamba.
That's great basketball.
They got a great look at it from Mitchell.
Good rescreen. The defender went under, and Mitchell knew exactly what to do.
And Auburn able to get that bucket.
That's only Cooper's 5th and 6th points today. He's averaging 22 and 9 assists. Baylor's done a reasonably good job to this point. But you don't want Sharife Cooper to get it going.
Shot short, rebound there by Thamba. Feed rejected that time. And Auburn a chance to cut into an 8-point deficit. Johnson on the baseline. And that's pulled down by T. Here come the Bears up by 8. Maceo T hesitates, got a piece of the paint, and then kicked out. Teague, the UNC Asheville transfer. Mitchell, who transferred from Auburn. Scott Drew does such a good job getting that chemistry just right. That one tipped away. Auburn wants a backcourt violation. Shot clock winding down. Inside.
There's Vital again.
Vital fights for the loose ball. Saved inside. What a battle.
Watch this, John.
And then Cooper is fouled on the floor. I think they got Mark Vital on that last foul.
Well, you love his energy. We'll take a foul when he makes plays like this. Mark Vital, he's been at Baylor since 1957, or it seems that way anyway. Big part of winning in Waco.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get it done. Back in Waco, John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, big foul. Davion Mitchell charged with his 3rd. Fran, what'd you think about that call?
Well, I thought he was illegal, John. Now, I will say that's a 50-50 call because in the judgment of the official, he didn't have 2 feet firmly planted on the ground. He was moving. I disagree. I thought he was legal, and I thought it was a touch foul at worst.
Mitchell kick to the corner. Butler spins it up and in. Wow. Jared Butler, nice move.
He's a magician, John. He is first-team All-American, and if this team wasn't so balanced, you'd certainly put him in the mix for Player of the Year along with Luka Garza.
Cooper gets inside and Sharife answers.
Yeah, now Davion Mitchell, we've been told, John, has 2 fouls.
Okay.
Scott Drew certainly did not like that call. Oh, man.
And now they're starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, John, this kid started his career at Baylor last year, 10 for 37 behind the arc. He did not shoot it well at Auburn as a freshman, but he has become as good a shooter as Jared Butler has. I mean, he's shooting nearly 50% from 3.
Yeah, came in at 47%. That's too easy. Butler with the deuce there, and it's a 13-point advantage for the unbeaten Bears. Timeout Auburn. Bruce Pearl knows got to be careful right here. 51-38. Timeout on the court. Bears trying to break it open. Well, pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Yeah, they're jumping around. And you don't get a lot of that nowadays in college basketball due to COVID, but here we are. 13-point advantage for Baylor. Oh, they're delighted. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, Jared Butler heating up, Franny.
Yep, no surprise. This backcourt had 18 points at the half. They were kind of slowed down a little bit. But thanks to Jarrett, Butler, Teague, and Mitchell, they have all 16 points for Baylor to start the second half of the first 6+ minutes. So you'd expect that from three guys who are as good as any backcourt in America, proving it time and time again.
Butler left side.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. Meyer came flying in and threw it down. Holy cow.
Oh my, John, you won't see a better play today. This kid used to be a cartoon character, making fun of him, shot him in it. He is a good basketball player. This is why Baylor has 8 starters. The junior from Austin. Take a look now. No surprise if you've been around this Baylor program the last 3 years. There's a tremendous respect for this kid's talent.
Wow.
Quite frankly, what he's done is he's matured over the 3 years. He's grown up. They love him. He's a popular guy. And, man, does he have basketball skill.
Fight for the loose ball, and eventually Flagler comes away with it. It's Baylor by 15. Meyer with that ferocious follow dunk. Tried to get the lob. Active hands that time for Cardwell up ahead. And then the dunk to make it a 13-point game.
Obviously a danger zone for Auburn, but again, Bruce Pearl, his team has played hard. They're not going to quit. Remember, this is just the beginning of another renaissance. They lost over 80% of their points, and the senior class had 99 wins that graduated, including a Final Four run.
Meyer, 3. Got it. Inside, outside. He's doing it all.
Well, I've said this before. It's kind of boring, but you'll look up about 5 years from now and you'll be watching the Denver Nuggets or the New Orleans Hornets and you go, oh, yeah, Matt Meyer. I remember him from Baylor.
Shot contested, but Jalen Williams knocks it down.
And the Bears now in a little bit of an offensive groove, which they did not have in the first half.
Mitchell whips it right side. Flagler, a great look at it. Guess who there for the offensive rebound? Butler spins.
Good tip out. Good action on the offensive glass.
Mitchell got it.
He's automatic.
Holy cow, what a possession. Everybody efforting, everybody touching the ball. As good a team as there is in the country.
Well, it's because of their bench, John. We talked about Flagler today, everyday John, but how about Matthew Meyer? 8 starters for this Scott Drew coach team. And Matt Meyer, little highlight action, deep 3, and then, hey, the best two-way guard in America, offense, defense, Davion Mitchell. Count on it.
Davion Mitchell and the Baylor Bears leading by 16. Fran, if you're going to hit a 3 without your shoe on, you got to practice that, I'd have to say.
Well, I thought, John, I thought he was a little off balance here, you know, because he only had the one shoe on. But pretty good day for a young man who Bruce Pearl said he broke my heart when he decided to leave Auburn. He was one of the very first kids that Bruce recruited to Auburn out of Hinesville, Georgia. And he was playing a lot as a freshman, but he was backing up Jared Harper at the point. And he just decided he wanted to make his name somewhere else. And, of course, that team went on to the Final Four in 18-19 with Harper and Bryce Brown. And Davion Mitchell's made his own history here in Waco. But Bruce Pearl said, I love the kid, and we loved having him. And he fit right in because he's a junkie and he defends. Basketball.
It seems like the way it should be, right? The idea of that relationship is still strong, and Bruce understood the idea that Davion wanted to go someplace else, wanted the opportunity, and no hard feelings.
Yeah, I think it hurt him that he left because he's an Auburn type of guy, you know, and
sure.
He's a Baylor type of guy as well. But that toughness, and Hinesville, Georgia is just inside of Savannah a little bit. And when Bruce was at Tennessee, he had a kid named Jordan McCray who ended up being a really good player at Tennessee, so he had a little in there. Raekwon McMillan of the LA Raiders, former Ohio State All-American from Hinesville, little town of about 35,000.
One of the other things that Bruce Pearl was talking to us about in terms of recruiting the greater Atlanta area, how close Auburn is. What is it, about an hour and 20 minutes? And they can be at some of those high schools. I mean, you're talking about a real recruiting advantage that Auburn, basically, Atlanta's right in their backyard.
I was surprised to know that Atlanta is closer to Auburn University than Birmingham is. And especially the west side, as you pointed out, because that's where McEachern High School is, which has produced Isaac Okoro, Sharif Cooper, and some of the other guys on this team. Nice pass.
Feet inside, and they get Jalen Williams for the deuce.
There's a little secret weapon on that Auburn staff I'm going to tell you about, because I know that young guy well.
Look out, Meyer, baseline, and a two-handed stuff.
Nice pass the other way, but a head on the rim. But his head was on the rim on that dunk. I want you to watch this, John. This kid is really athletic. He is a big-time athlete. Did you see where his head was? I was not. That's
easy.
not. I know this is a Boston College word, but that's not hyperbole.
Oh, wow. Throwing it at me, huh?
I'm throwing it at you. Look at that magical movement right there.
Tip out, Meyer, triple, got it.
Money. Yep. He's like the character actor in a great movie that you go, I know that guy, but I don't. He just happens to have to wait his turn. Kid's going to make a lot of money somewhere, and I don't know where yet, but he will make money playing basketball.
Another three. This time it's short.
Yeah, that's okay.
And an offensive foul, and guess who's there to take the charge?
Oh, man. Matthew Meyer, Westlake High School down in Austin. And, you know, he was ranked really high as a young player. That his ratings dropped, but he committed to Baylor, and he is doing it on both ends. And, John, we said it really early, and if you haven't seen Baylor, many people have already. But there are three guys that come off the bench are essentially starters, and everyday John, Meyer, and Flagler. This team will be top 5 or top 10 next year, even though they'll lose 4 starters.
Well, again, this year, the goal is to win the national title. I mean, they're not just unbeaten, they're blasting teams. They won all 15 of their games and would appear to be on their way to 16 in a row. But, Fran, every game they won by 8 or more. So, I mean, they're not even playing close games.
No, and I'll tell you what's fun right now. Everyday John has been guarding Sharif Cooper, Mark Vital, and Big John, Jonathan Chamwa Chachua. Got to say that once a game.
Yeah, you do.
They have been guarding Sharif Cooper for much of this second half. Look at this.
And Meyer goes down hard, and he gets fouled.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but Auburn University has some athletes out there. And this kid's an athlete as well, Matthew Meyer.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball presented by Continental Tire, and well, the SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire, Kansas and Tennessee, and that comes your way tonight, top of the hour, 6 Eastern, and then number 1 Gonzaga taking on Pepperdine. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. If Baylor played Gonzaga 10 times, Franny, who wins how many times?
5 and 5. I'm going to say 5 and 5. Yeah, I think we should have a 7-game series, honestly. First of all, I have no freaking idea who would win that game because I've seen them both and they're both great. But if you made me decide, I would say 5 and 5, John. You know,
and they are two. Is it those two teams clearly that have separated them? Is there any other team worthy of being in that category now?
I thought Michigan could be. They're really, really good. Villanova, last I checked, was up on Seton Hall. They're really good. I think these are the two best teams in the country. Both coaches, they're very close friends. There's ties here to both programs that we've gotten into before. They still want to try to play. I don't think it's going to happen. But you know what the great thing about this? If we see them, it's going to be in the national championship game. Good look.
And again, to continue, the defense has been outstanding in the second half.
Yeah, John, because of the S curve this year, there's going to be no consideration for geography when they put the bracket together. They will be the 1 and 2 seeds in the field of 68. So the only time I believe they'll be able to meet will be in the national championship game, which would be just unbelievable for college basketball, given what we've all been through this year.
$15-point advantage. Baylor trying to improve to a perfect 16-0. The top 3-point shooting team in the country. Teague.
Well, look at that tip out by Thamba. Whoa, Thamba! Guy averages 3 points a game, but he makes those little plays like that to keep the ball alive. Great effort. They lost Freddie Gillespie. They added Thamba as far as a key guy. Everyday John, Mark Vital, and they've got some toughness inside.
Cooper, step back, off the mark. Thamba rebounds. What have they done to limit Sharife Cooper today, Fran?
The biggest thing they did, John, was take away his passing. They've dared him to shoot and score, and he hasn't been able to knock down any shots. It's not necessarily his strength right now, but they have eliminated those easy baskets to his teammates that he's gotten in the first 6 games.
Baylor with balance today. The Bears with 5 players in double figures.
John, the kid, this young man, his father is an agent, an NBA agent, Omar Cooper. There's a good chance he's going to leave after this year. And, hey, God bless you if you're a first-round pick and make that money. But I believe if this kid came back next year, which he probably won't, they would have a chance to win it all at Auburn next year.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Continental Tire. For what you do. Fellas, thank you. So we got Kansas, Tennessee coming up. And this has turned into a 20-point game with Butler at the line. John Chambee, Fran Fraschilla. I've been to York, Fran's in Dallas. This one in Waco. And the Bears in the second half making that push and beating up on a pretty good Auburn team. Beat inside. Going to the line will be Chris Moore. Sharife Cooper has been brilliant since becoming eligible. And, you know, it's interesting how different teams have connections. There's Cooper on the sideline, but you know the guy that's on the staff that at least in part helps connect how Auburn was able to get their hands. There's Ira Bowman, who's an assistant with Bruce Pearl.
Exactly. Ira played at Providence. He was then transferred to Penn, where he was the Ivy League Player of the Year, 5-6 years in the NBA, and he grew up with Omar Cooper in that Newark, East Orange area. Sharife Cooper's dad ran a great summer league in East Orange, New Jersey. I used to attend it to recruit in the summer, John, and Ira Bowman is in part responsible for recruiting that group out of McEachern High School, in part because of his connection with Omar Cooper, who's now an NBA agent representing Isaac Okoro. He's obviously going to represent his son someday. And Ira has done a great job for Bruce Pearl. He's only been on the staff about 3 years now, but great impact.
And you recruited Ira Bowman at Providence, right?
I sure did. I tried to. He played at Seton Hall Prep for Bob Farrell, a great coach in Jersey. And we begged Rick Barnes to play Ira as a freshman. He didn't play much. And then he ended up going to Penn, where he had a great career, and, of course, the NBA. And he's just one of the great young people. He's not young anymore. Not as young as when I recruited him, but he's a great guy. Great addition to that staff. And he's on the west side of Atlanta all the time. There you see Sharif. Now, John, here's what I said earlier. Let me make sure. And there you see on the far left, that young lady, you can barely see her, but that's Tia Cooper, who was a grad transfer here after finishing a good career for Dawn Staley at South Carolina. Outstanding guard, and she played on that last national championship team. She's now a member of the LA Sparks. So let me just explain about Sharif Cooper. NBA teams will tell his dad whether he's a first-round pick or not, and I think there's a chance he could be, despite the fact that he's had an off game today. All I'm saying is that if he came back with the starting lineup they could put on the floor, and remember, Justin Powell, a brilliant freshman, has been out since January 2nd, with Flanagan, with JT Thor, and with Jabari Smith Jr. in the lineup, who's one of the top 5 players in the ESPN class of 100. That starting 5 would be Final Four good. Now, if he goes to the pros, great, because I know Bruce Pearl last night said emphatically, if he's a first-round pick, he's gone. He's going. But this team, along with the guys coming in, the bench, they're going to be really, really good next season. And remember, they've already taken themselves out of contention for an NCAA bid this year because of the ongoing investigation started 3 years ago by the NCAA based on the FBI information. This is going to be a really good Auburn team a year from now.
Will be a really good Baylor team a year from now as well. Timeout.
Yes,
call.
it will.
4:01 to go in this one, and the lead down to 14. Well, this one so far, Baylor by 14, 4:01 to go. As we mentioned earlier, Baylor's won every game by 8 or more points this year. And in the second half, that three-headed monster of Teague, Mitchell, and Butler, they've done the job against Bruce Pearl's team.
They really have. And this game could have gotten away even more, but give Auburn credit. They're going to fight and scratch. And again, for at least a half, they gave Baylor some fits with that athleticism and length.
I wish Bruce Pearl was more animated on the sideline. I just feel like he needs to work on being a little more expressive.
You know, John, I'm a big Bruce Pearl fan. Now, there's some things he's done with the recruiting that he's paid for, but I've known him a long time, and as that basket goes by ACO Teague, but I'm a fan of his coaching. He is an excellent basketball coach. And he's not happy with the call. See, you have to know officiating crews. I said this earlier. See, there's no foul there.
Yeah.
There's just no foul there. That's just incidental contact. And but you know, Coach Drew told us last night when he knew who the crew was. He said, "I told my team they're going to call a lot of touch fouls, and every crew you must adjust to." It doesn't mean they're making bad calls. It's just that you know from history that certain officials will call certain plays a certain way. And this is a good crew.
There's our guy, David Kay.
David Kay's there. Had dinner with David Kay last night and Coach Drew at George's. Thank you for the crazy wings.
17-point advantage for Baylor. Bruce Pearl was our colleague. I worked a lot of games.
He told
Bruce,
me.
And he was fun.
Well, he was great on TV, but I think he's going to be coaching at Auburn for a while because they just love his energy. And as he told me last night, Auburn's great at everything, all their Olympic sports. You know, I mean, you could debate football, but let's face it, they're in a great league with they've had some great success through the years. But he's got this basketball program. Good kids, they graduate. They've got 100,000 on the APR.
To the corner. And a shot clock violation as Butler missed everything. 77-62, 2:50 to go. SEC Big 12 Challenge presented by Continental Tire. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla, or Boog Fran, if you prefer. Inside Thor. That'll go for the big guy.
See, now JT should have been in the class of 21, and he reclassified up.
It's had a nice afternoon. Their guards have struggled from three. The big guys have knocked down a few. Fans, a reminder, Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans. Tuesday, 11th ranked West Virginia taking on Iowa State at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, plus K-State battling number 15 Kansas at 8 Eastern. And next Saturday, it's the Bears, Baylor hosting TCU. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up today, ESPNplus.com/Big 12 Now.
Baylor's got a big one on Tuesday, John. I think they travel down to Austin and play Texas, who I was told today will have all of their players back from a COVID protocol.
Flagler buries that one. And it's back up to 16. Adam Flagler with 19.
He was what we call an unsigned senior in the Atlanta area, which means he had no offers. And he signed with Presbyterian at a Duluth High School, where he competed, as I said earlier, against Sharif Cooper. How about that? How about JT Thor?
Thor a steal for Flagler. By the way, the 19 is a season high. The lead down to a dozen.
Well, we talked about it during the break. This team will not quit. Auburn Tigers, that's not the Bruce Pearl way. I think Sharif Cooper, you know what he saw today, John? And he saw a game plan for him.
Right.
A scouting report. And the scouting report early was, let him shoot every shot he wants behind the arc. They corralled him on all pick and rolls with the big guy. By corral, I mean they were soft trapping him. They allowed him to go to the rim and shoot shots, but they took away his passing. And what did we talk about at the Open? His incredible vision to make his teammates better. And that young man, this is just a step in the road to becoming a great one, because he saw a great game plan today by the #2 team in the country. He will grow from this. He's a dynamic player, and he's obviously got a bright future. How about your first college game against your rival when you sat out the whole season? He gets 26-9 against Alabama.
Yeah, January 9th in 32 minutes. Now, the other thing today, Fran, he's averaging into this one 11 free throws a game and just hadn't been able to get to the line. And
exactly.
Chama Chachua able to get to the line. Who just got a tech? I think Bruce Pearl did. Darren George teeing him up.
Well, Bruce has been animated, and you see Jerry Pollard right next to Bruce. He's just
Jerry Pollard
like
just stone-faced.
Yeah. He's still having at it. Want to hear an interesting stat? Can I blow your mind a little bit?
Absolutely.
Only 3 freshmen in NCAA history have averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Sharif Cooper coming into today's game, Markel Fultz, and Kenny Anderson. Now, Danny Ainge did it back in the 70s, but assists were not official NCAA stats. But that's pretty good company right there.
Oh, you say it there. It comes
out here. Yeah.
That.
Now, it's only 7 games in.
Kenny Anderson, by the way.
Yeah.
Chips, I mean, one of my all-time favorites. I mean, one of my favorite college players.
Were you his era? Were you, like, when you were...
Yeah. I remember I was a freshman, or I was a sophomore, and I went to go see Malloy play Talenton in high school.
Yeah.
And he didn't play in the first quarter, and all of a sudden, this little 5'8" kid, it's 140 pounds, checks into the game at Rose Hill at Fordham. The place is jammed. Marty Conlon's sitting 3 seats away from me. Everybody's watching. Yeah, Malik Sealy's on the Talenton team. And he was unreal, man. I mean, just came in and dominated.
Speaking of little guys, John, I mentioned Adam Flagler when he was a senior at Duluth. His team lost to a powerhouse, McEachern, which had a sophomore point guard by the name of Sharif Cooper. Flagler had 18 that day, but no scholarship offer, so he went to Presbyterian. And today, he can say, yeah, we love Sharif Cooper. He's pretty good, but I got mine. Oh, yeah, I got mine. You love basketball for that reason, because the truth is on the court. And this is not to denigrate Sharif Cooper at all, but press clippings versus no press clippings. And this kid today, 3 years later, has been tremendous. He'll be a great, I say great, not great, but a really good Big 12 guard a year from now as a junior.
Big day today, including those three threes.
They got a great class coming in. They've got a kid by the name of Jeremy Sochan coming to Baylor. He's Polish. He's playing in the German Pro League right now. He's 6'8". He's a 6'8" Mark Vidal. But he, quite frankly, he's a little more skilled than Mark. But wait till you see him play, John. Jeremy Sochan. Great class coming in. Can you believe that Baylor has 8 kids on their roster who have redshirted?
Yeah, it's one of the things that's fun is Butler wasn't able to hit, but Tchamwa Tchatchoua was able to put it in.
He redshirted last year after averaging, you ready, 3 points a game at UNLV. There you go.
Well, it's one of the things, and I'll give you credit for pointing this out all the time, so I effectively steal it from you. But you look at the 2 teams that are 1 and 2 in the country, and at least in terms of the model, they both have done something with Mark Few and Scott Drew that other programs haven't used, and that is players coming in, they get them to buy in enough that they will redshirt players, and it ends up benefiting the team and the players.
Well, without a doubt, you know, this is a cliche that's been said ad nauseum now. Get old and stay old in college basketball.
Right.
And I think with the advent of transfers being eligible right away starting August 1st, you're going to see more power conference teams like the Carolinas, Kentuckys, Dukes, Kansases dipping into the transfer or free agent pool. It used to be, as a college coach, the #1 job description was crisis management coordinator. Now you have to be a roster management supervisor. And to your point, Few and Drew have done it as well as anybody.
Yeah, that one goes for Baylor, as once again the Bears are going to come away with a win here today as they lead it by a dozen with 20.7 seconds to go. They won every game this year, Baylor has, by 8 or more points, and it looks like there's a decent chance that will happen again.
Yeah, and now Bruce Pearl's going to try to keep that from happening, because you heard some boos. I never had a problem with a coach coaching to the end. That's what he's doing right now.
Let's send it back to the studio. Here's Reese. Standing by, Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale. You know, I went to college with Bob Wischusen, friend. Did you know that?
I did know that. My other partner. Absolutely.
And by the way, Bruce Pearl, who went to Boston College, Bob Wischusen, who went to Boston College. They actually they were in the same years apart, but they stayed the same, I think, freshman year dorm.
Was Bruce really the mascot? Was he the Eagle? That's the rumor.
I don't think that's accurate.
Okay. Well, of course, he learned well under Dr. Tom Davis. We have that in common. I worked for Gary Williams, who worked for Tom Davis, and we both learned the same type of offenses and defenses that Bruce still employs. And he's really a brilliant coach. He really is. And his teams play hard, and they're going to play to the end. That's how it should be. Put a trap in here, get a steal.
They get it up ahead.
Now, if you're Baylor and you score because they're trapping, that's okay too. That's coaching etiquette 101, but they're not going to.
Baylor 16-0. They win it by a dozen. 16-0, the second best start in program history. Scott Drew, his team continues to roll. Coming up, Kansas and Tennessee. Here's Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale.